go. So one more time, I apologize for repeating myself, but for those, since we just started recording, step 1 is to log on to the LRAC grant site. Enter in your email address, and then continue with putting in password in. First time you're in, you'll be changing your password. Pick a password that you like, and then you'll move into the system. This is your landing page. This is the dashboard that you will see when you come in as a board member. And this page will have the heading Your Evaluations right here. And then the evaluations that are ready for you to evaluate are this one here, the open evaluations. And right now there are currently 7 of them. We ran a little light this time with the Artist Quick Start, and we had 9 applications come in. 2 of them were ineligible, and so we gave them the opportunity to withdraw the grant if they so desired, and so they did. So we have 7 good applications in the queue waiting for you to evaluate. So the step that you do when you get to this page is to click on Board Member, and that link will take you to the list of evaluations. So here we are on the Application Evaluation Assignment page. And as you can see, it says board member here, and there's 7 of them on the list. And here you can see the 7 grant applications that are waiting for you to evaluate. The one thing to tell you is the system default in this is for organizations. And so as you can see, they are alphabetical by organization. And as you recall, we review grants in the order that they come in rather than by the alphabetical order of the applicant. So in order to put them in the right order, you will need to click on File Number, and that will sort them in the chronological order of the file number. So click on the file number next. Now you can see the file number was clicked, and they're now in the right order. The file numbers are assigned based on the order that they came in, and now this will be the order that we will review them on the night of the grant review. A couple of other things to let you know. The organization, if it's an individual, this will be their last name, and then this will be their full name, the applicant. If it's an organization, then this might be West Central Area Schools, and then the name of the individual that completed the grant application. Or it might be an entity such as the University of Minnesota Morris Theater Department. So if you see this, an organization has last names, then that's an individual grant, so that you understand how that's organized. The first step when you're going to score a grant is to click on this little icon right here, and that takes you to the scoring page. So right now, all of the red asterisks mean that those grants haven't been scored. And so you'll click on that icon, and it takes you into this page. And as you can see up on top, it's called Evaluation here. So this is the evaluation page, and each application has one. You can see the file number here. This is the return button to take you back. Here's the basic information about the grant itself. And to begin doing the actual scoring, you just scroll down the page, and it tells you the name of the grant round, the file number, and then the summary name for the project. Pretty simple. And then you go through the process of just doing, completing the form for each application. So the first question that you'll do is, do you have a conflict of interest with this applicant or not? And you can select either yes or no. If you do have a conflict of interest, that is important because you will not score the application. Instead, you will select NA when you get to that, and I'll remind you of that shortly when we get to that page. So first question, do you have a conflict of interest, yes or no? Then the next question is applicant eligibility and project eligibility. The vast majority of the time, we here at the office will make notes to you and let you know if this application has something that makes it ineligible. And we will bring that to your attention. But every once in a while we miss things and other people identify stuff that they think might make something ineligible, either as an applicant or as the project. So in case you do have that happen, you can make a note of that here. So if everything is good, that you find the applicant to be eligible, everything, and you'll select that button, and the project is eligible, you'll select that button and move on. If you found something that you're wondering about the eligibility that we didn't bring to your attention, then you will mark the applicant as ineligible, and you will write it in. And what this will do is then if you want to make that motion the night of the grant review when it is called, this would be the place that where you would remember what it was that you felt was ineligible. If there's something missing, or if the project is asking to do something that makes it ineligible. Most of the time, you'll just go through and say, nope, everything looks good, and check it as eligible. Then you move into the scoring, and it's on a Likert scale, and here are the 3 criteria for Artist Quick Start. 1, overall excellence of the work, you'll rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. Contribution to their professional growth, rated on a scale of 1 to 10. And then serious professional commitment, rated on a scale of 1 to 10. Remember, if you just declared a conflict of interest, you'll check NA. This is because that will pull your numbers out of the ranking total. So please check NA if you have a conflict of interest. So here's an example of what a ranked grant looks like. In this case, we gave the guy 5 5.5s. And that's, there you've done your ranking. There is a box down at the bottom. If you have comments that you want to have shared with the applicant, you can enter them in here. And then after the grant review, Maxine and I will go through and we'll read those comments. And if there's any questions, we'll share that with the applicant. And so you can write your comments in. And that's it. You're done.
Can you hear
me? Yeah, I can. I'm sorry, I put everybody on mute. So I'm going to put you on mute for just a minute, and then we'll open everything back up.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks, Siobhan. So then when you're done with going through the ranking, you're all done. You click the save button, and then once you click the save button, you'll get a confirmation page that tells you your evaluation has been saved. And that tells you it's good, everything is in good order, and you click the continue button, the blue continue button. And that takes you back to the page. And as you can see, we're starting to see more scores here on the page. So we've ranked 4 of them here right now. So here's the new ones we've put in here. You do notice, once again, the default is to put it in the order of the organization. So we've got them alphabetically again and not numerically. So I recommend, once again, clicking on that. If you're doing it sequentially, put it back in the right order and then go on to the next one. Or at least take the time to cross-check. I'm working in 08 and this is 08, just to make sure you don't accidentally rank them. Rank a grant thinking you're working in one and not the other. So just do a quick check to make sure you're working in the right one each time. Then when you're all done, you've got them all ranked. You can see here I've got all my green checks, all my scores are here. And then if you want to see which one did you rank the highest, you can click on score and it puts them in nice numerical order. So you can see in the case of this one, you've ranked this one first. And you can see potentially if your was the only grant, it was the only score, this would be the outcome of the grant round, which ones would have been the top and the bottom. So that's how the ranking is done on your side. What I'm showing you here is an admin page that we see on our side that will be the results of the grant review when everybody has completed their ranking at the end of the night. And so here you can see this was our mock grant round that we did back for the project grants as we were experimenting with the program. This is in the numerical order for which one was ranked first. And that one was the top ranked one with 83% total as their top average, that was their average score. And then, as you can see, the number of potential ranking board members is this number here, 17, and that night 11 of them attended and did the ranking. And so that gives you a sense of how we'll do it. On the nights of the grant review, if we have a full board, it will be 18-18. And so that's what we see on the admin side that will help us tally up the ranking and determine who was ranked first. So that's ranking, and how that is done. I think I will stop right now and open up the mics and see, does anybody who has a mic would like to ask a question, or you have the ability to type a question in the chat section. Anything that you need reviewed, or I can open up a live site and walk you through it one more time.
I have a question.
Sure, go right ahead. You want to say who you are, just so we know? So
Siobhan Bremer from Stevens County.
Okay, thank you.
Now, you may have answered this. I came in 5 minutes late, so some of this may be just because I missed the very beginning.
That's fine.
But you were talking about the file number and making sure that the file number is right, or cross-checking the file number.
Yep.
When you showed the page, we saw the name of the grant. So as long as we know which grant we're in, do we need to reorganize those?
Yes, you do. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to log in live. I'm going to go in. I have myself set up as a mock grant reviewer. All right, so here's mine. I'm going in as a board member, and right now mine has 8 because I've got a project grant in there as a sample. When it first comes up, Siobhan, here it is, it always comes up in order of the organization. See, alphabetical, right. A, C, and so forth. It does not come up in the file number order. So the way you make it come up in the file number order is you click on file number, and now it's in the order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right, but I guess my question is, do we need it to be in the file order, or can't we just rank them?
No, you don't. The main thing is just to verify that when you're working and looking at Artist Quick Start 01, that's the one you're ranking in the system, because they are in this order when you go to view it on the board website. So it's just to make sure that you're ranking the same.
Oh, I see.
Just to make sure you're not looking at number 3 and accidentally ranking number 4.
Okay.
That was the main thing. But nope, that's a very good question. So that.
And then I have another, but I'll let other people ask questions if they. I've got 2 more questions.
No, that's okay. I go right ahead. What's your other question?
Okay, so one of them you were talking about when you do the ranking that you can add comments. Is the save button just for the comments, or is it for the ranking as well?
It's for the entire page. It's for, it's not just for the comments, it's for everything. Correct.
Okay.
The ranking, and I can show you one. I'm going to go into this one. There it is. And here is the ranking for it. And if I wanted to go in and change this to an 8 and a 7 and a 9, and we will the night of the grant review, if you pre-rank and you want to change it after hearing the comments, up or down or whatever, you could go back in the night of the grant review as we finish with that application, or at the end of the evening when the ranking is when the round is wrapping up. I just saved it again, and now or changed my numbers. I'm going to hit save one more time, and here comes that page again. So now that one, the ranking, when I go back for that one, and that's the first one, that number went up because I changed it. So
right.
So you can pre-grant round, you could rank everything as you review it and put your preliminary numbers in, and then if after reviewing it and hearing the comments or listening to other people's feedback, you decide you want to change your ranking, you can that night as well.
Okay. And then in that previous scene that you were showing us, we don't see the name of the person or the name of the grant. Is that true?
In the evaluation?
So, yeah, the evaluation where you were giving them the 8, 9, 7.
We see their grant number. Right now,
Because I see the name under project summary, but that's not where you were doing the
right,
numbers.
correct. What I will show you is the name is always located at the top. Here's the top of the evaluation page where I'm doing my ranking. Here's the file number. Here's the information about who the applicant is. So yes, you do see the name and their address and everything before you get down and see the file number one more time and the summary of the project. So it is on that page. Yep, it is.
So the page that you did the numbers on, it's on as well? It's down there. I see it now.
Yeah, yep, this is all one page. Yep.
Okay, that's why I was asking, because if we forgot to flip them in numerical order, we still would see the name and the proposal summary when we're ranking.
When you first get in, the number is right here at top, and the name is right here below it. Yes, good question.
Okay.
Yep, that does work. Okay.
And my other question you just answered, it was if we could rank prior and then change it in the meeting or after the meeting.
Okay. Yep. Yes, we can. So that will work. Anyone else have any other questions about ranking? Okay, now that you've seen ranking, and I'm going to pull up one more thing. I'm going to go back and turn your mics off for just a second. Attendees, there we go. And talk for a little bit, and then I'll turn your mics back on again. Okay, so this part is about how to review grant applications. The system gives you some choices, and what we'll go through is our current way of ranking is still available. And the current way that we rank is you go to our board website, you pull up the PDFs and all of the supporting documents there, and you read through them. And so you could easily do that. And then once there's a draft ranking form in there, same type that we've always had, you could do your ranking on that. You could bring that form to the meeting the night of and do your ranking at the board meeting at the end of the evening, just like we always have. But instead of doing it on a piece of paper, you go into the system and do it that way. That would work. Or option one would be to open up the board website and the fondant site, and to have the screens up side by side, and I'll show you how that would look. And that would be another very doable way to do it. A second option is those same PDFs that we put on the website are available in this website. So if you wanted to do everything within the fondant site, you can pull up the PDF and look at it there, and then do your ranking that way. And I'll show you how to do that. And then the last one, and I'm not sure if this is the best one, is you can actually work in the fondant site and just do it by way of the application. And the reason why that one is a little different is that the attachments have to be opened up. And if this all seems confusing, I'll walk you through this just so that it doesn't seem too overwhelming. So this is our current way of doing it. We go to the board website, we click on the board packet, and then we do here, all the README stuff is still there, the tip sheet, the notes and criteria, same format. The review criteria is there, the draft ranking sheet is there if you want to use it, and the scoring Rubik cube. They're all there, they're all currently on the website. And Connie has them there for us. The PDFs of the grants are all there. And they're in numerical order like we always have them, and this is your evaluator version that has it's the same document that you will see. Shaban did discover, and I think we have fixed it, that the website links that they put in there, if they don't put the full complete address, the HTTP semicolon slashes, they don't work as well, and we've given them instruction that they need to do that going forward. So I think we have fixed that little minor glitch with the links not opening in the PDF. Some of the things that you'll see when you look at the PDFs is the websites. For example, this is somebody's website because they have the full address in here. If you were working in the PDF and hovered over this, the cursor would change from the arrow to a pointing hand, a pointing finger, and you could click on it and it would open up the window and take you right to that link. And so that's a function that works in here. This would be used for, like, this is an example of this person's website, or if they have a work sample that has a website. The attachments are located at the bottom of the grant after the narrative, and as you can see, there's a file attachment summary page that lists all of the attachments that are in there, and then right below that, you see them. And the nice thing is this system takes all of the attachments and creates that PDF for us. We don't have to make that PDF anymore like we did before. Everything is right there. And just to give you a little bit more information, there's two types of budgets that you'll be seeing in this new system. Our simpler grants, like specifically the Artist Quick Start, the Career Development Grant, and the Operating Support Grants, those budgets are built into the grant application. They are text boxes that they enter. The more complicated grants, the legacy grants, the individual organization and government, and the project grants, those are Excel spreadsheets now that the applicant has to complete. And then once they get them into the system, they become a PDF that you will see. We'll see that next month when we get into the project grant review. So here's an example of what the budget looks like in an Artist Quick Start grant. They enter the information directly in there, the same format that we always have. Are they making any income? Yes or no? What are the exact line items that they're asking for? They enter them in, and they also get an opportunity to provide some explanations, and then the total expenses that they have and the total amount that they're asking for. It's all right there in the grant. For those that are more complicated ones, the budget and the legacy grants, those will be Excel spreadsheets. The reason we had to do that was because this system doesn't do the math. They would have to be adding everything up and doing the maths. And so by building Excel spreadsheets, we built the math into it. And so the one thing you will see in the grant is they need to list how much are you asking for, and they'll put that in the budget section. So in this case, this project grant is asking for $2,120. And then the budget itself is located in the file attachments. So here you see that file attachment summary page one more time. And the first thing that's listed is the budget. This is a little small, but this is what the budget looks like, and you'll be able to pull it up. This is 2 pages. It's the exact same format as our last budgets in terms of expenses first, income second, and then the difference is how much they're asking for in a project grant. So this number right here is the total amount that they're asking for based on expenses with income taken out. That's the difference, and that's that same number that they would have put right here. And those are things that I will check to make sure that they're accurate and complete like we always do, but this is what the budget will look like. So a little bit more about some options. This is option 1. This is the side-by-side option. So what you're looking at here is this side of my screen is pulled up with fondant showing with my evaluation page for this grant application. And this side is my board packet site with my PDF up, and I'm reviewing it. So these are both, this is the Artist Quick Start, the name is the same, so I can read this grant, go through it, and then scroll on this page and do my ranking on it. That is a very easy, doable thing. Just putting your screens up side by side. Open one, drag it to one side, open one, drag it to the other, and then work your way through it. And I think that would be a very doable way to work your way through the system. A second way that you can do it is staying within the fondant. This is the same fondant page that we were on to begin with a ranking. We've got them in the order. Here they are. If I want to see that same PDF, this little icon right here, if I click on that, it pulls it up. So I can stay in fondant, I can pull up that icon, I can look at the grant application, and then I can go in and rank it. That's another doable way to do it if you prefer to work in fondant. Depending on how you have your computer set will determine if this comes up as a new window or pulls up as a new tab. It kind of depends on how you have it set up, and when you click on something, it will open up for you. And then the last way that you can do it is to, within the actual evaluation, if you click on application, it will open up not the PDF, but the actual application in the grant. And I'll show you what that looks like. Here it is. And so you would, instead of being a PDF, you would scroll down and you would see the question and the answer, and the question and the answer. And you could certainly do it that way. That would work. The only thing that makes it different from the PDF is that all of the attachments will need to be opened up. For example, here is a resume, and so instead of having the resume like it is in the PDF be listed in the bottom, you would have to click on this link and it would open up as a page. Here's a work sample that would have to be opened up and viewed that way. So the attachments would have to be one more step to open them up and view them. And then to look at websites for like work samples or for websites, you click on this little world icon and that opens up the page on the internet, which is kind of a nice feature. So that's something else that you could do in terms of the different ways that you could view the grant applications. I know with myself in our office, there's 3 of us on 3 computers, and we might all be doing the same task, but we do it 3 different ways. Each of us has our own personal preference on how we like to look at things and how we like to work in things. The way I've been looking at grant applications is different from how Maxine likes to do it. So that's why by showing you different options, we're trying to give you some choices in terms of which way is the best way to look at the grant applications. And that's it as far as what I was going to go through today. I will unmute everyone. Some folks have hopped off and hopped back on. Additional questions? Anything else that I can answer, or I can pull the site back up live again and walk you through it one more time? What would you like to do with the rest of the time that we have today? What would work best for you? Maxine, do you have any questions or anything you want to share at this point?
Just to let folks know that at the orientation on October 7th, which won't be in time for the Ours Quick Start Grant, I think we'll actually be walking folks through a little more specifically how to work in the system. So this is not the only training that you'll get on this, because it can kind of feel a little confusing at the beginning because there is so much that this program will do. So have faith, we'll get through it. We're finding new stuff that this does almost every day, but it's pretty cool.
Any other questions? What I will say is, if you get started and you have some challenges, we're here to help. We can set up this type of a thing where I talk you through it and we share screens and we walk you through things. So with our new go-to meeting, we have the ability anytime to hop on and work with you on stuff. So if you want to call and maybe set up a time in the next week or so to just kind of walk you through and do an example, we'll gladly do that. This training will become available, fortunately, since I remembered to hit the recording button, on our website, and we'll continue, like as Maxine said, on this October 7th, we'll have everybody sitting on laptops and or their units, and we'll go through more showing you, maybe dig a little bit more into the spreadsheets for the budget, if that's something that needs the work, or whatever topics you believe you think would be helpful. Any other questions? I think Shaban was a good question answer, but I believe she had to leave. So anyone else have any questions that you want to ask in terms of the system? No? Yes? No? Maybe? Oh.
Just so that we know the go-to meeting technology is working, Can you verbally say hi if you're there so that we know we haven't got you muted in some weird way? Can everybody say hi? Hi.
Hi.
Okay, you are there.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I have Dee Dee. Dee Dee's there. She
Dee Dee
just.
is here.
Yep.
I finally found the microphone button. Oh,
Yeah, and I've got Amy Ann was here for a little bit, and then she had to leave. Shaban left, and then there's one more caller that has their phone muted, and I don't have their name identified, so I'm not sure who that person is.
That might be me. I think I'm on 2 lines at one time.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. And I'm not sure who caller 5 is, so we'll see. Okay.
How about Barbara?
Oh, I've got. I thought I had you. Oh yeah, no, you're here too, so I'm not sure. No, Amy's maybe back. Okay. Don't know. Anyway.
When you talked about October 7th, is that we firmed up a date for that?
Yeah, and I had sent out emails to you, Barb, but I didn't hear back on that particular one. So most of the people can come October 7th from 9 to 1:30, and there's a pretty good chunk of time that day that we'll be working on the Founded system.
Okay.
I haven't sent out the confirmation of that yet, but I did send out a survey a few days ago.
Yep, I got the survey. I just didn't know that it had been confirmed. Okay.
Okay.
this is Dee Dee again.
Yes, Dee Dee.
Oh, October 7th, I'm taking my first trip away from my dog, thank goodness. And I'm going to Maine, my first trip to the East Coast. So I will miss that October 7th, but
yeah, there's about 3 people that can't make it, but the rest of the vast majority of people can, and unfortunately, Dee Dee, you're one of the ones that can't make it.
Okay. Otherwise, if there's where you could repeat some of that we missed, or film any of it too.
Yeah, I imagine we could capture that on video, Betsy, couldn't we?
Yeah, especially I think we could, especially if I use the computer too to show people stuff. That would work just fine. Okay.
Like you did today.
Okay.
Thank you. This was fun.
No, we when we switched over to doing grant writing webinars, we also got the GoToMeeting feature as well. And I had an opportunity to show Maxine how this works the other day, and I think this might become a more frequently used tool in a lot of different ways in our office when it comes to bringing people together to answer questions. Matter of fact, I haven't used the feature today, but I can share the screen with other people. So if Maxine had something to show you on her computer, I could share the screen with her and back and forth. I've used it in other ways, and I think it will be a good tool. But that's all I had for today. I had us scheduled for doing it in about 45 minutes, and we're under that. We're coming up on that. So unless anyone has any other questions, that was what we've accomplished what we set out to do today. So we will let you go. I'm sorry.
Well, just a real quick reminder. If you're like me and it's a few minutes to a few hours or days before I get back to get into the system, and I forget how, just give us a call. We'll go through how to get into the system again for you if you need to.
Yep. And then this recording will be available on the board, the LRAC board website as well. We'll get that taken care of as well too. Okay. Very good. I'm going to
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.